All right, well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the public hearing. At this time, I will turn it over to Business Manager Drew Giaquinto.
Thank you, Hal. The first hearing is for the senior citizen age exemption, which we've done for the past 10 years. And as our discussion at the last board meeting, we're looking to increase it again by $500 at each of the bands that go forward. So with that being said, if there's any public comment or questions, we try to answer the best of my ability.
Does the board have any questions for Drew on the senior exemption? No?
No, thank you. I have a question. For both of these tax issues, is there a reason that we vote on it and it's not a proposition on the ballot at election time?
It's just the way the law is.
Okay. I figured it was something simple like that. Thank you.
Close this one.
Next one. Do you guys have any questions on the senior tax exemption out there? No? All right, so we'll move on to part two.
Not yet.
You made it funny.
Well, I was looking at Tom Stark, so you know, so. All right, so we'll move on to the volunteer firefighter ambulance worker exceptions. Drew?
Sure. Thank you. Again, this is something we discussed at the last board meeting, and this is new, and that the town just adopted this past January, I believe. And so now we're looking for the school district, the board, to approve a resolution in the subsequent meeting. And I outlined the criteria in the last board meeting again tonight, where it's for volunteer ambulance and fire service people with at least 2 years of service. They get a 10% exemption. And the other thing is, I think it requires annual recertification through the commissioner of their fire district to stay on the exemption. There's information that we've attached, and it's all run through your local, the town assessor has the information, and you file the paperwork, and he can then give you the credit on your tax, on the tax roll. We want to get it done tonight so that it gives people time to get to the town of Glenville before the March 1st deadline.
Beautiful job, Jerome.
Questions from the board?
I have a question. So if we vote on this the first time, it's brand new. It's not something, once it's voted on, it's here for perpetuity, correct? We cannot, or do I say we, the board, cannot vote at a later time to say we'd like to withdraw, correct?
Correct.
So I would like to hear either your concerns or your lack of concern about how it would affect our budget to have to determine to permit this.
The impact would be it removes a certain portion of the off the tax rolls into the exempt portion, similar to the seniors and the veterans. The actual impact of this, I don't think is going to be a great shift. Right now, there's only 30 people that are impacted on the town's tax rolls. I don't see it swelling to the extent that the veterans did, which was a half a point shift. I don't think it's going to do that. It does not affect your tax. It doesn't affect your, your budget. It'll affect who shifts the burden to fewer people, basically, is what it does. So it affects your tax rate, basically. So less assessed value will be subject to support the tax levy, but I don't think it'll be significant. We don't really have the data yet, but I don't expect it to be something that's going to affect the landscape materially going forward. And if my opinion means anything, I think it's a nice thing to be able to do for people that volunteer their service in these areas. That's just my opinion, which means nothing. But
I disagree with that, that last portion of it. So in your opinion, you don't see it having an adverse impact on our constituents as a whole when we have to determine budgets?
no. hopefully it spurs people to want to get into this, because I know they're hurting for recruiting purposes. People like these gentlemen who do this know that, so I do not think it'll be material.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good to go. Anyone in the public have questions for Drew? Mr. Mayor, good evening.
I just want to offer my support for this. The volunteers, we have a career fire department in the village, but without the volunteers' support, you know, we'd never be able to do this. So anything we can do to try to increase volunteerism, that's not going to have a major negative impact. You know, from a village perspective, it's a big support.
Are there any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
If you'll entertain a comment, we stand in support of the effort from West Glenville Fire Company, and I would ask you all to think about changes within 2.5 decades. For 2.5 decades, I've been an active firefighter. Tommy's got probably 2.5 times that amount. Starting my 49th year. But 25 years ago, we didn't actively come into the building that we're in and train for active shooters. We didn't issue and wear body armor. Now we do that annually, and we're training with fire and police and local emergency medical groups for a day that we hope never comes within the district. We're asking people to do things that are not normal for my lifetime. I'm a 1998 graduate of Scotia-Glenville, and we've had a shift in the world. And when you talk to people about recruitment, what they may be engaged in and what they may have to deal with, offering a 10% property tax exemption to me is kind of an entry point to get them in the door. We do it for the good of the community. We do it for the good of our neighbors. Our little company in West Glenville, about 20 volunteers, we work in a 3-county area: Montgomery County, Saratoga County, and Schenectady County. And to be able to offer any financial benefit would be an improvement over what we've done. For the life of our company, we've offered no financial incentive. We get nothing. And they brought in a $200 tax break on your income tax. That's really a pretty tiny amount to offer to people that get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, leave work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and rise to the occasion, even when it may be inconvenient for family birthdays, holidays, and other events. It's a little bit different than coaching. We know that volunteerism as a whole, especially post-COVID, has declined, and having one more tool for recruitment would be wonderful. And having that tool to thank people that donated 50 years of their time would be a real asset. So, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Anyone else? Well, I appreciate it. At this time, if there's no more comments or questions, we'll close the public hearing. Thank everybody for coming this evening to this, and we will reconvene at 7 o'clock for our regular board meeting.